I'm Phillip Snalune, I'm co-founder of Codio. Each year we have been helping like hundreds of thousands of learners with their upskill towards modern technologies. We have partnered with tech companies and specialist training providers to help them deploy like cutting edge programs. Codio is evidence and research based in helping clients kind of build effective upskill programs. And we've put a real emphasis as a company on like learning outcomes and the quality of the learner experience. We're also in the vanguard of learning platforms using AI to enhance both the instructor and the learner experience. Across hundreds of client organizations we work with, the most commonly cited pain point right now, and in fact many of the conversations we've been having today, are around the tooling for the upskill experiences required to train employees on the modern AI stack. Today, many of you will have in your bags an AI adoption report, and if you're determined to see your AI tech scale in the enterprise and education is part of that strategy, which it should be, you're at the right session. I'm going to talk first very briefly about the prospects the survey highlighted for AI brands seeking to scale like enterprise adoption. And fundamentally, we're going to talk about the upskill adoption barrier that the report has highlighted and show you a better way to scale AI upskilling. The news is, I guess, that like significant productivity gains are expected within 24 months. This survey data is looking at 250 plus C-level leaders in enterprises in the US with over 1,000 employees. And you can see that the expectation is high in terms of the productivity gain. About a third expecting more than 30% productivity gain in the next 24 months. So the expectation has been set and it's very high. The rub is like very few enterprises have scaled AI adoption. Many see it already as like a core strategic capability. There are as many, however, who are still planning how to implement. It's an important area. Many people are going to be seeing training budgets increase. We've got nearly a third of enterprises spending $1,000 an employee on the upskilling. And as we've said, the productivity gain expectation is very large. But here's the rub, right? The missing layer in enterprise AI adoption is upskilling. And these statistics are quite souring to kind of look at. On the first one, over half of C-level leaders in these major enterprises are struggling with understanding how to use AI effectively. So it's fine kind of like pushing the tech. You're pushing it to an audience that is still struggling to understand how to use it effectively. Half of them admit significant numbers of the workforce are going to require reskilling. And the killer stat for me in all of this report is 60% citing an inability to properly educate and upskill as their top barrier. That's quite sobering. And so when we think about this, like our perspective as a tech skills learning experience platform is that the missing layer in enterprise AI adoption is upskilling. You need scalable, consistent, solid tech stack delivered with a high quality as a learner experience, and that right now is the missing layer. Earlier this year at a conference in San Diego, we saw pictures of the modern tech stack with the call out around the AI orchestration or the agentic orchestration layer. What was missing in all of that analysis was how do we actually upskill the workforce? And in fact, I'd say more than half of the conversations I've had today have been people asking me, is this about like tech skills and tech employees, or is this about everybody? And the sentiment that people are conveying to me today is that the upskill imperative is about everybody, and we certainly espouse that view as well. So lots of AI brands can kind of take their tech into the enterprise, but they're missing the point in a way in that there are a huge ecosystem of upskilling and enterprise transformation partners who are also trying and being asked by enterprises to take that upskill initiative into the employee base. And many of them are now looking at specialist platforms like Codio to help deliver a hands-on learning experience that actually gets to outcomes. And let's explore what we mean by that. The first part of this is about being friction-free. A very common pitfall in scaling education experiences is around the tech stack. Developers are busy, they want to simplify the learning experience, and it's challenging. Codio partners with these tech providers to allow learners to get on board in a friction-free way. Let's explore a little bit what we mean by that. So we specialize in tooling the learning experience, and as well as the conversations we've had about is this for technical employees or non-technical employees, most of the conversations have also been around, can you provide an experience for technology X or Y? And what we're showing here is an ability to configure in the Codio platform a wide range of learning experiences, everything from Claude Code to AWS and Databricks to Snowflake to LangChain, Hugging Face. And the principal, like friction-free requirement that people are asking for is help me get learners into this experience without them having to create accounts, authenticate, enter credit cards. I just want to get learners into a hands-on experience where I can be sure that the hands-on applied skills learning is actually taking place. And of course, it's become a lot more challenging with LLMs. So as much as we can configure this, you can either use the Codio API and we can tool the experience for you, or you can bring your own API and foot the bill separately for your own LLM access. Either way, you can give a friction-free experience to learners. We also offer single sign-on, LTI, so learners can come straight into the workspace and get hands-on with the learning experience. And of course, resource considerations have rocketed. As much as the report says that people are willing to spend significant dollars on the upskill experience, I've had many conversations today where people have said, we're finding employees spending hundreds of dollars a day on these tools. How do we control for that? So as much as we can tool this experience for you, we've also built an LLM proxy that allows you to set limits at either a token level or a budget level, so you know with certainty when you're delivering a tech upskill program that you can configure the experience to have a dollar limit around how much somebody should consume. So let's have a little look. I've got an experience open here. Somebody's asked us to configure Claude Code. We've got terminal access, we've got an IDE. I'm straight into Claude Code without any waiting, any authentication. It is friction-free. People can get straight into the learning experience. Guide is a markdown tool that allows you to create learning experiences that can be configured alongside IDE or access to third-party tools. We've also got options here where, for example, with Crew AI, you just have straight up into the experience with the ability to create access to hands-on learning. As much as friction-free is an important consideration, so is the requirement for flexibility. So not only do we need to get learners into an experience in a very simple way, we also need to be flexible in terms of the resources we're configuring. Many of the partners we work with run their content from a Git repo. You can connect a Git repo up to Codio. Many of the partners are actually asking for a very wide variety of software configurations. You have full pseudo privileges in Codio to actually configure the learning experience you want. You've also got flexibility with compute resources. So as compute loads increase, whether you're teaching AI or data and AI or any of these related topics, many people are asking us for bigger memory, full virtual machines, GPU instances, and we can configure all of those learning experiences in a way that allows learners to keep focused on the learning. The last aspect of this is obviously like the data and insights. Codio is keystroke auto-save. We track everything. We can log events. We can log runtime. We can look at coding versus debugging time, rate of edits, insertions, deletions, and all of this data is available to you as either a straight data export from the platform, or we can give you an API data feed so that you have the full set of data on what learners are consuming. Not only is it important for the learning experience to be friction-free and flexible, we also put a lot of attention on the quality of the learner experience. So here, for example, I've got a programming course up, compound conditional syntax. I've got the option here of adding pages. I've got the option here of actually using Gen AI to actually create new content for the learner experience. I've also got options to use AI as a coding assistant for students where coding errors can actually be rectified with AI tutor support. And finally, I think it's, put your brand at the heart of the AI upskill imperative. It's easy to get hands-on in Codio. There are myriad options to do that. And I just wanted to recap and say the AI upskilling imperative requires flexible tooling and resource management. So you can get learners in a friction-free way. You can tool according to the way you'd like to build your learning experience, whether that's from a Git repo, with any LLM or any stack, with industry standard tools, including IDE tools, and all the flexible compute resources you would need, as well as the ability to get all of the data on skills attainment from the platform. Put your brand at the heart of the AI upskill imperative. Thank you very much indeed. Questions?
Hello, great talk. In addition to being an AI developer and entrepreneur, I'm also a part-time computer science teacher at a high school in Chicago. I'm also on the AI steering committee for about 50 private high schools in Chicago. I learned at your table that you've actually been working with high schools or intending to. Can you speak a little bit about that and how this could be, customized to allow our young people to kind of get early on this upskilling train?
Exactly. So yeah, it's a great question. The huge trend in intro computer science education has shifted from digital literacy programs or basic intro programming to now, how do I give my learners or my students a primer introduction on AI? Codio partnered with OpenAI originally to build intro generative AI. We've also worked with many of the leading K-12 curriculum programs to bring a version of their curriculum into Codio and power that experience. And what people are finding is that it is easier for students to get hands-on. The engagement metrics are better. We offer extensive support for the authoring of learning experiences, so instructors and teachers can bring their own pedagogical vision to the platform. There's no lockdown with Codio. You can manage your content externally in a Git repo, publish into Codio, manage courses, clone courses. The other thing I would say is that in the vanguard of infusing the learning experience with AI, not only have we built tools for instructors to either create, modify, keep content evergreen, we've also done large-scale studies of how AI can support computer science students with things like programming error messages. And in a large-scale study that was published in June, we saw double the completion rate and a median grade gain of 15%. So we've got a lot of evidence base and efficacy around what we're doing, and that has translated into a better learning experience.
So I can see the value of the kind of turnkey. You want to try learning career AI. You don't want to deal with your IT organization to stand it up locally or whatever. Just bam, you got this wide array of things available. You'll also have kind of is it just totally blank slate, or is there kind of a notion of a flavor of different quick starts and seed data, synthetics, that kind of thing?
It's a great question. So Codio started life being asked by Ivy computer science schools to provide a cloud programming environment and an assessment engine for assessing code. And about 5 years into the journey, people said, we love the assessment engine, do you also produce content? So we have produced two things. One is, I guess, a sandbox library, a stack library. So if you have ideas about what you would like to teach, you can get going very quickly. People love the courseware because we've made it 100% editable. So half our clients bring their own curriculum, half our clients use our curriculum, and I would say fully 3/4 of those actually modify and edit what we've provided for them. And generally that means supplementing with their own labs or assessments. And the result is you get a highly immersive learning experience that is faithful, if you like, to your vision of what you want to teach.
Good. Yeah. David Henry, VP of Growth at 1-800-Flowers. Everybody in this room is here because we see where this is going, but we're all also parts of very big organizations where there's lots of people that don't see where this is going. What is your message to those in large enterprises that aren't already taking the initiative to learn about this stuff on their own? And how do you get through to them about the power of these tools to transform their own workflows?
It's a fantastic question. I think at the heart of this, and at the heart of a lot of conversations at this conference today, has been, is this for devs or is this for everybody? And I think resoundingly the answer is, this is for everybody. Another big, if you like, debate is this about individual jobs and skills, or is it about collaboration and teamwork and companies and processes and outcomes? And my sense of this is it's the latter, and there is too much focus on concern about individual jobs and skills and not enough focus on how do we harness this for everybody as a collective in the organization and get the gain completely for the organization as opposed to one function. And so my sense would be the adoption report where you've seen C-level leaders reporting about their concern on the inability to educate. I think there is a big white space right now around, well, what does training look like when it's at the kind of intersection of technical and non-technical learning? And I think there is a clear opportunity there to actually build learning experiences that are reflective of the fact that not everybody's a dev or an engineer, but it can take them pretty far with being able to harness AI tools and create a more meaningful and productive outcome.
Thank you, Philip.
We have time for one more question.
I'm curious how long it takes from I know nothing about Codio to I can spin up a platform for people to learn on.
Say again, sorry, I couldn't hear that.
How long does it take to go from zero to I've got something that people can learn on? How do you go, how long does it take to get started?
If within that question is how long did it take to build Codio, I think it took it took a couple of years for us to establish product market fit.
I was thinking more for users. So suppose I start from scratch and I want to get people learning straight away. How?
Oh, I see. Yeah, you can get learners in seconds. I mean, if that's the question, it's dead easy. You exist as an organization in Codio. Instructors have roles. You can have mentors and read-only instructors. You can connect Codio to your own systems, and you can get learners in a very friction-free way in a matter of seconds.